Mike Smith getting all from West Coast as he clings to the lead from Gunnamera. Irem is third on the inside. Cameron is fourth. It is West Coast, and he keeps on rolling. And West Coast goes wire to wire. It's the Travers.
Live from the backstretch at historic Saratoga Racecourse, this is Racing Across America with Seth Merrow. Racing Across America is brought to you by Pinnell's Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, Saratoga, just minutes from the track. Thoroughfan, giving the fan a voice. Find them at thoroughfan.com. And Woodbine Racetrack. Pick, bet, and cheer on world-class horse racing north of the border.
Brilliant. Winchell Fleet Renee. Basalt goes in quietly. Pleasant closing to the far side. They're all set. Back to you, Marv. And away they go. All right, they're off to a beautiful beginning, and it's PhD and Basalt going for the lead. Spartan comes through on the inside, and Z Rockstar is fourth. Rumors About Me is racing in fifth through these opening furlongs, followed by Puddykins, who is on the inside of Easton Jack, and Pleasant closing. Marv Albert, Rodney Dangerfield, D. Wayne Lucas, Robert De Niro, and Trevor Denman at beautiful Oaklawn Park. Let's go to Rodney as they go to the backstretch. Oh, I tell you, I got no respect at all. First race I call here, Basalt wouldn't go in the gate. Yeah, and he's battling for the lead. I'll tell you, they're head and head up top. It's Basalt on the inside and PhD. Are you kidding? The only degree I ever got was an MD. Money destroyer. Spartan coming through on the inside, and then it's Z Rockstar fourth. Then Pleasant closing fifth, about 4 off the lead. He's followed by Rumors About Me. I'll tell you, there's rumors. And unfortunately, they're all true. Then it's Puddykins and Easton Jack. Let's go to D. Wayne Lucas. Well, I thought this thing was going to get serious. I don't know that we approve these particular voices, and I'm tired of the questions about the Eclipse Awards. We've got more Eclipse Awards than we can count, and I just want to pay attention to the race. And I'll tell you, Optimizer will be double tough. As far as I'm concerned, this one's wide open, and I think PhD is going to be tough, and he's now battling for the lead. Basalt, you know, when you wash out at the gate, that's going to be tough. And Z Rockstar, now that's a horse that I can pay attention to. I thought it's going to be serious for him. No. This came from management, D. Wayne. Don't give us a hard time. Just watch the race. They home it down in the short stretch of this mile run. PhD, Z Rockstar. What a horse race this one is. Z Rockstar, PhD. PhD, Z Rockstar, PhD. And nose to Z Rockstar. Then came Pleasant closing. Close for fourth. Rumors About Me. Basalt, Easton Jack, Puddykins, and then it was Spartan who ran last. What a horse race that one was. PhD and Z Rockstar. It brought back memories of Sunday Silence and Easy Go right here at Oaklawn. Let's go right back to the studio.
Good morning and welcome to Racing Across America on a Monday morning. You just heard him, the inimitable Frank Miramati, one of his classic calls from Oaklawn Park. And look, he joins us this morning. Frank, good morning.
It's a pleasure to be here. As you know, I've been a longtime fan of yours.
I appreciate that.
I was one of your first log-on people for Equidaily. I've always enjoyed that site.
Appreciate it. And we've been a big fan of yours. And again, one of the fun calls with you nailed Marv, you nailed Rodney. Good job there.
That was fun.
Yeah.
That was fun. Oaklawn was a place that they wanted me to be serious. And then at the end of opening weekend of my first season, 2012, they said, let's do this. They never asked me to do it again. After they heard that, they said, that was plenty.
That was good, though. Very good, very funny. Let's, before we get into Saratoga, and you're in town not only to enjoy the races, but you're doing the MSG Fox show this afternoon, and Wednesday, too?
Yes, very excited about that. I was called out of the bullpen, a late call-up. They said, bring in the big righty, and we're going to have some fun on the show today and on Wednesday as well. Certainly looking forward to it. Had a lot of fun last year in my appearances on here, and you got to be prepared. This is Saratoga, the greatest racing in the world, so it's a tremendous honor.
I'm looking forward to it. I obviously I'm here at the track all day, but I try to catch the shows later on because they do the late night version as well. But when you guys left here, you did some down at Belmont last year.
Yes.
And I got a kick out of it. I had a smile because you and Andy, every once in a while, there'd be one of those horses where it was like 180 degrees and you guys would butt heads. And I don't care what horse I bet in the race, I was watching to see which one of you guys got it done with the horse you would argue about.
We had a lot of fun on those shows. And Andy, one day after a show, I think it was July 3rd over at Belmont, he said to me, he said, that was the most enjoyable show that he had done, because we were battling, I mean, fiercely on a race. And it was almost fitting that in one of the big battles that we had, he ended up getting me by a nose in the last race. It was when Discretionary Mark made his debut. And I loved him, and he loved another horse that had run a few times. And he ended up beating me. And it was almost like, since I was the road team, I almost felt, okay, that's a perfect ending to the show in that the home team wins, but I made him sweat it out. We had a lot of fun, and we look forward to doing it again. Andy and I get along very well. We have a lot of laughs when we talk.
Yeah, we had him on Sunday morning, and look forward to having him on a couple more times before the meet ends. But again, it's always fun to watch you guys. So today and Wednesday, and then you said a couple times a little later in the month as well.
Yes, and I don't look at his picks until after I'm done with mine. I'm very pleased to say that we only agree on one race of the 3 that we covered today, so we should have some good battles going on.
Very good. Let's talk a little bit about, before we get to Saratoga this afternoon, and some thoughts here. Let's talk about the Monmouth meet so far. How are things going down on the shore?
Things are great, and you know, a much-needed sigh of relief as sports betting was approved at Monmouth Park. Dennis Drazen, our chief executive officer, who's a big-time horseman and breeder, had a nice win here yesterday. As a matter of fact, was instrumental. That's an understatement. He fought hard for sports betting to be legalized, and it's really doing well. In fact, when I saw the numbers, I was surprised at how big the numbers really were for these sports bets. And this is during soccer and baseball. So when football comes, it's going to be astronomical. We've partnered with William Hill. And you know, in horse racing, everyone talks about takeout and what's the best takeout. No question, William Hill offers the best lines in terms of baseball, like a 10-cent line as opposed to a 20-cent line. It's a big difference. And it's a great atmosphere. It's perfectly located. And, I mean, the future is bright because this is going to help purses. It's going to help meet. And, you know, this, as everyone knows, Monmouth Park has been surrounded by states that have alternative gaming, and it's been very tough for them to survive, and it's amazing that this management team has been able to do it. So this is something that's very exciting, and we've had a good meet. You know, the runner-up the other day in the Schuylerville, Nona Madeline, made her debut over there. Nice maiden winner yesterday for Todd Pletcher, ran at Monmouth. We always get some good maiden stakes races, allowance races too, entry level. And I know that the optimism is extremely high for the future, and that's what it's all about, preserving racing on the Jersey Shore, and now having a chance to see it flourish where it belongs.
Yeah, I applaud you guys. It was the day or two after you opened the sports book. We had one of the VPs from Monmouth on with us when we were down in the studio, and the excitement was already clearly obvious with just the first couple of days. And that was really only maybe a week after the Supreme Court ruling, because you guys were first off the block, ready to roll, and I applaud you for that. And again, we're hoping here in New York things work out as well, because this will be a bonus for horse racing. And I said when I was talking with the Monmouth executive, I said, I think as opposed to casinos, which have helped horse racing in certain ways, I think sports betting has the potential, more potential as opposed to slots players. There's more potential for crossover from sports players.
A lot of sports players like action, and so therefore you see a horse race going on, you get involved. And we always have to wonder, what is this going to be? Because let's face it, the truth of the matter is the majority of the public would rather bet on sports than horse racing. We're not going to kid ourselves over here, right? But there is a lot of crossover, and that's why they have racing sports books throughout Las Vegas and such. And the good news for me is it's almost like I got a raise, because I'm not allowed to bet sports at Monmouth Park, which is actually good news for yours truly. No ninth-inning meltdowns necessary for the track announcer. It's good stuff.
All right, and again, before we move on, I just want to touch on also, because I pulled up a replay of the Kentucky Derby. We're going to watch Justify win, but Good Magic is going to run second. I want to touch on your really signature event coming up next Sunday, the Haskell down at Monmouth. And again, Justify is going to win. Good Magic is going to run second, though. Good Magic and Bravazzo pointing towards the Haskell. And I think, I'll see if you agree with me, you get past Justify, I think this division is searching for some definition. And the summer races, I think, have the chance to provide that.
There's no question. And Good Magic is a monster. He is the deserving favorite and should be an overwhelming favorite on Sunday in the Betfair.com Haskell. And he's last year's champion. I thought that vote was absolutely correct in giving him the championship. He proved it later. He just ran into a buzzsaw in Justify here, and Justify was just not going to be defeated. But he's fresh, he's ready, and I have to believe Good Magic will make a strong statement to begin the second half of the year here in the 3-year-old ranks. And look, as we get closer, we're starting to think toward Breeders' Cup Classic. Good Magic is an extremely legitimate contender for that, and one of the likely winners of the Breeders' Cup Classic.
Yeah, looking forward to the Haskell next Sunday down there, though, to, as I say, kind of sort things out, and then up here a little later to Travers as well, Pennsylvania Derby, because, as I say, you get past Justify, it's a little juggled up in that division. I'll ask you, I don't know if you may have been on the road yesterday. Did you get a chance to see the CCA Oaks and Monomoy girl? Wow.
I did. I
Yikes.
really did. Yeah, she's really good. I mean, she had the pace advantage, certainly, to go to the front, but she finished it up very well. You know, down deep in me, that West Coast Midnight Bisou, I had to root for her just because you think about West Coast connections. You know, she started out there, and I've watched her, and she's a good filly. But let's face it, she was schooled yesterday, and Monomoy girl is quite a girl.
Yeah, and I think he was a name that was kind of getting on people's radar to begin with, but certainly Monomoy girl has put Brad Cox front and center really early in his career. You know, he winds up with his first Grade 1 winner like 2 months ago, and now it's essentially, I think you can kind of put in the book, his first Eclipse winner as well.
He's an outstanding trainer, and you know, he was training for Midwest Thoroughbreds for a while, so I became familiar with him when I was at Oaklawn, and I thought, this guy can train. And a couple of years back, Tommytown Thoroughbreds called me one day and asked me about trainers that you might recommend. I'm like, look, I don't know. These guys are all good. And I actually called our racing secretary, Pat Pope, which, by the way, is a tremendous addition to the NYRA team that he's going to be joining here. And I asked him about, you know, I said, look, I don't want to tell this. You're the racing guy. And he gave me 3 names, and one of them was Brad Cox. They ended up sending him a filly, Tommytown did. And I know that, look, he has so many nice owners, so many nice horses. And at every level, he's tough in a $10,000 claimer. He's tough in a Grade 1. But there are no flukes. When a guy is winning like that at every single level, you know, there's something to it. He's a fantastic horseman, and I'm very happy for him.
Absolutely. All right, let's jump in this afternoon and get some of your opinions. Again, you will be on the MSG Fox Sports program as well. I recommended people tune into that if you aren't coming up to the track. It should be a lot of fun, as I say. I enjoyed you and Andy when you were doing it last year, so looking forward to this afternoon as well.
I got to irritate him quickly. I just got to needle him a couple of times when we get to go.
It's funny. I had Tommy Amos by phone a couple of months ago. I said, we're going to see you up in Saratoga doing the shows, right? He said, yeah, I got to come keep Andy in line. So that's always the game plan, I guess, up here. 4th race, though, at Saratoga. Again, they're off the turf, so this is an off-the-turf state-bred maiden special sprint. I had it 13-14, and then so I'm essentially staying with the MTOs. There were a couple in the body of the field that attracted my attention, but I will say the 2 MTOs are first-time starters, so there's some question marks there. Where did you go in race 4?
It's funny that you mentioned the MTO, because Bourbon Mission, the reason that horse becomes even more interesting to me, and I didn't pick him on top, but he's a Mission Impassable, right? And so those are pretty decent turf horses, yet this horse was entered main track only, so I think that it's a strong statement for this one's ability. The horse that I picked is number 4, Dugout. Now, Tyler Gaffleone is named on 2. I don't know which was his top choice. I certainly hope he stays on Dugout, who should be a very, very fast son of Adios Charlie. Adios Charlie himself ran 2nd in his debut. The mare has dropped 5 multiple winners, and Larry Ravelli, talk about there's certain trainers that can get horses to blast right out of the gate. Larry Ravelli is one of them. I would imagine that this horse, who was training at Arlington early and then comes over here, is extremely fast. And if that's the case, I like Dugout. I will be worried, however, if Gaffleone ends up on the 14 Woodbury, because certainly you don't always know the inside story on where the jockey was going and what the commitments were, etc. But I'm a big fan of Tyler Gaffleone. I think he has the potential, ready for this, to become the best jockey out there. Oh. That's how good I think he is. And he's young, but he's exceptional. You watch him in those races at Gulfstream Park, particularly on the turf. Every race, he's in the perfect spot. He gets himself ready to win. And I met him here for about 30 seconds. I said to him, I said, you're the best, my friend. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. He's really good, and he seems like a good kid as well. I'm rooting for much success for him, but he has been phenomenal so far.
Down there at Gulfstream certainly has shown a lot of talent down there. So, all right, race number 4, the Ravelli horse. And after the MTOs, I may take a look at that one just on the Larry Ravelli
A lot of
stats.
sprinting winners. I mean, multiple winners, several of them.
I wasn't quite sure what to do with Ravelli coming in from Arlington. Sure. This was one where I wanted to see the scratches. Would he stay? Would he take out? Because they're training over the synthetic at Arlington, so they probably wanted the turf, but that he stayed in. You got to put your trust in him, I think. All right, the feature today, that one stays on the turf, and thank goodness, because I have Loaded and Wow written at the top of the page. This is just a phenomenal race. Really I went 3, 11, 2, and 4. The 3 Triple Chelsea, it seems like it goes through that, but we did the handicapping show earlier, and I said, a couple of off-turf races weren't her best efforts. Brielle's Appeal, the first on the AE list, comes in off a soft turf course win at Keeneland. So that appealed to me. So I had 3-11, 2 and 4. I'm wondering though, West Coast guy with a Baffert horse in here. Are you looking at Fapien?
I like Fapien. I mean, I don't like her in this race, but I certainly respect Fapien. I'll tell you what Fapien really schooled me long ago was against Selcourt back in the Angel Flight on May 14th, 2017. I can still feel that wound. When Selcourt was a very, very nice filly for John Sadler, unfortunately had nothing for Fapien in the late stages. She's good, and her turf debut was excellent. This is just a loaded field. I'm with you, too, Triple Chelsea. She's so good. And last time, I absolutely loved Morticia. I thought I was home at all times there, and she just came and picked her right up. And so, to me, it's difficult to not pick her because it just seemed like she had her measured, even though she got her right on the money. It was like, how's Morticia going to beat this filly if she fires this mare? She's 5. But I have to go with her as well. And Brielle's Approval is a horse that I'm intrigued with as well that you mentioned because she's had an outstanding record thus far, and there's nothing to fault her. She's good. This is a very tough race. There's so many good horses in here. Nothing could surprise you.
You mentioned Tyler Gaffleone, Triple Chelsea, another up-and-comer as far as the jockey. Adam Biscuit's he's one that I think people should keep their eyes on. Certainly this winter, he stepped out. And just before we move on, the 7th race is the feature. It's the Caress, and you and I were talking beforehand about Caress.
Yes, Caress was an outstanding filly. She wore those famous flamingo white bars on black sleeves and a black cap of the Harbor View Farm. She earned a lot of money. One of her wins, however, we should talk about. It was the Just a Game. It was a race that she was put up by a disqualification. It was a race won by Class Chris. And that was my first year of announcing races. Class Chris had won the Black Helen. She was a very, very talented filly for Jimmy Picou and Fred Hooper. But in the race of the Just a Game, Class Chris won by 5. But it was in the days when in New York, it was a very strict. A foul is a foul. So did she foul? Did she foul Caress? Yes. Did it affect the 5-leg victory? No, but a rule was a rule. No. DQ City. But Caress, don't take anything away from her record because she had many wins that she didn't need any assistance from. She was very, very nice. But we all talk now, and social media has taken the steward situation to a ridiculous level where everyone has become a steward, right? But back then, it was just a very cut and dry situation. Yeah. You foul, you're out.
And that, to me, that was a great rules change to let them have their discretion. Yeah. But that opens up a whole new can of worms as well. That was definitely a good move because there are certainly those races where you can look and say there was a foul, but it wasn't going to change the outcome of the race.
And then somehow, when your ticket is on that horse, you tend to be in that direction. You can't help it. Let's face it, it's human nature.
All right, 9th and final today, Statebred Maidens. Again, another off-the-turf event. I went 3, 12, and the 3 and the 12 in here. The 3 is in the body of the field, but has been on the dirt most of the time. The 12 is an MTO, so I kind of went a little bit logical in here. What did you see in the finale? Because you said you liked the horse.
I love this horse so much. I'm so glad Andy didn't pick this horse because we're going to have some fun on the show. I absolutely love the 10, Mama Mary here. I would have liked her in either situation. But when I was looking at this card, actually, even though, of course, when you're covering turf racing, you want to see the races stay on the turf, from a wagering standpoint, I actually prefer seeing this race come off the turf because Mama Mary, who's a daughter of Bodie Meister, I thought she ran well in her debut, first of all. She was in between horses, not the most comfortable of positions to be at first asking. I'm not saying it was a trouble trip. It just wasn't the ideal situation where she was placed, which is understandable that she ended up finishing 3rd. Wasn't an amazing performance. Did you see anything out of there? No. But when you're uncomfortable early, she was subsequently scratched at the gate on June 29th, the race that some of these others came out of. But the thing about her that I absolutely love is that she has 7 winning siblings, including a couple of absolute mud freaks, one of which was Jessica Is Back, who won 8 of 15 starts on the off-going. Another one named Super Danny, who won 3 of 6, and 2 other winning siblings in the mud. What more can you beg for than with moisture in the track, a horse who showed some promise? There are going to be some scratches out of this race, and ideally the connections are very familiar, and I'm sure they are with this family. This is my best bet of the day. Mama Mary, I think, will absolutely take to the mud or whatever the course is, as long as the main track has a little moisture in it, which it has to because it's raining now. I love Mama Mary today. This is the horse that I will make the statement.
All right, I like it. And Frank, before we let you go, I'll just let you mention, because your best all-time win at Saratoga is sitting off the set. You and I talked about it on the phone. I thought it was hilarious. Talk a little bit about...
Last year, I came to Saratoga for the first time in 19 years to do Saratoga Live. The first day I got here, one of my Twitter friends, Jennifer L., was here. I saw, in fact, when I pulled into the parking lot, I looked at my Twitter, and she put a little note, and I said, I really want to meet this girl, which was crazy because it's strange because she loves baseball, she loves horse racing, and her tweets made it seem like she's a very cool girl, and she's certainly a very pretty lady. So I said, I hope I meet this girl today. So I walk in, and then I look at where the TVs are in the trees, and I see there's like a million of them, so I'm not meeting her. I'm standing in front of with the group, with Paul LaDuca and a few of my friends, and Tony Alavato and all them. All of a sudden, this girl walks up, and she looks at me, and I said, I know you, and we shook hands, and we have been together ever since, which is just absolute...
As I said, are you Saratoga? She said, no, I'm from Monmouth.
Monmouth, she never said hello to me once.
The
best part is she told me, I'd see you at Monmouth, and you look too serious. Well, she now knows that was an illusion.
Very good.
Fantastic.
So, Saratoga, the luckiest place in the world.
There's no question.
Frank, we appreciate the visit, and as I say, you're coming back a little later in the meet, so maybe we'll get you to sit in again.
Hopefully, if we don't bring you bagels today with these selections, particularly Mama Mary, I put my reputation that she will run.
All right, we're looking forward to it. Frank Miramati. Frank, appreciate it.
Thanks a million.
All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back in just a moment. Racing Across America continues. Kim Weir, she's in the house. Stay tuned.
Birdstone is an outside front. They're coming down to the finish. Can Smarty Jones hold on? Here comes Birdstone. Birdstone surges past. Birdstone wins the Belmont Stakes.
You know, and make better decisions, better choices, to know how to connect the dots. In horse racing, knowledge is a powerful tool, but not the only tool. Race results and replays, past performances and live streaming, wagering from all your digital devices. These too are important tools, and you'll find them all right here at Capital OTB. Capital OTB. Become a better horse player.
In a recent study of some of the top online wagering sites, Capital OTB won big in total player rewards, far surpassing some of the best-known wagering sites in America. While other rewards programs simply offer you points redeemable for gift cards, Capital OTB's rebates are paid to you in actual cash. Plus, Capital OTB gives you full and immediate access to your money. So if all you're getting now are points and gift cards, join Capital OTB Player Rewards today and get cash back. Visit CapitalOTBBet.com and sign up today.
Looking for a fantastic meal? Stop by Malcolm's, a unique farm-to-table restaurant experience. Located at 617 Union Street in Schenectady, Malcolm's offers locally grown fresh foods, mouth-watering flavors, an enhanced drink menu, and terrific service. Malcolm's is a sure bet during Saratoga season. Make your reservation today.
Welcome back to Racing Across America on a steamy Monday morning here live from the Saratoga backstretch. But hey, it can be steamy. We're at Saratoga and we have the horses behind us and it's all good. And I know somebody who will agree with me. My friend Kim Weir. Kim, good morning.
Oh, good morning. It's such a pleasure to be here. Thank you, Seth.
And let's give folks a little background. You're here for the Thoroughbred Retirement Foundation. You are the director of Major Gift and Plan Giving. So certainly we're going to talk some TRF. But before we do that, just a little background. Your husband Bobby, a Beyer figure maker, a good handicapper as well. He was out at the Vegas tournament a couple of years ago. You a big horse fan, and I've known you for a few years now because our friend Teresa Gennaro, you and she used to teach together, right?
That's exactly right. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. I've been watching you on this television show for nearly 20 years, and I'm thrilled to be here to talk about the horses this morning, so thanks. And
again, you were kind of semi-regular or regular? Well, you were here every year, but for a limited amount of time, and then this year you and Bobby moved to town. And I'm assuming I'm assuming you walked because you're
I
like
sure
4 blocks
I sure
away.
Did. It's awesome. It's awesome. Yeah, we started coming up here. Probably 1997 was our first pass through town. Bobby told me this was a big deal. I was still new to racing at that point. So
You're a horse person.
A very, very horsey person. Grew up at the farm, and so we started coming in '99. And there was a tipping point where this was Bobby's trip for a long time, and then the bug really bit me, and Saratoga captured my heart. And all these horses, and so we've been coming regularly.
Even off season, I like that.
We kept having to test it in the winter because our friends thought we were, maybe we wouldn't make it if we took the plunge. So February we bought our house, March we moved up here, and we're all in, and we're thrilled.
Yeah, I was at the Preakness party. You guys threw a little Preakness party. You had more people. If I threw a party at my place, I wouldn't have that many people. And you guys have only been in town for like 3 months. It's crazy, but that was a lot of fun, certainly. And as I say, you're just a few blocks away, so you're perfectly located, wound up with a great position with the TRF. And let's jump into that and talk a little bit about Thoroughbred Retirement Foundation. First, just give us the mission statement.
Absolutely, my pleasure. So since 1983, 35 years ago, the Thoroughbred Retirement Foundation has been saving thoroughbred horses who are no longer able to compete on the race course from possible neglect, abuse, or slaughter. So our mission is that, and it has been that for a very long time. We're the oldest and the largest of the retirement organizations in the very vibrant community. We just play a specific role, which is sanctuary. So the horses that come to us don't have the option of a second athletic career, so they come to us for their lifetime, and they'll be with us safely and securely. We put them to work in some interesting ways as teachers. I'm happy to talk more about that, but that's who we are.
And I think we have a still shot, and then I pulled up a little video because I found ABC News had done a story regarding the retired racehorses at Wallkill.
Yes, great.
Benefiting the inmates, obviously, who can use the horses to kind of learn a new skill and maybe take that with them as they transition back into civilian life. And as I say, ABC News did a nice little piece, and I pulled up maybe 30 seconds of that, which was great as well.
Oh.
But talk a little bit about that and the herds and how it benefits the folks who are taking care of the horses as well as the horses themselves.
Oh, my favorite thing to talk about. So, in fact, I was just at Wallkill on Wednesday with one of our awesome board members, Maggie Wolfendale, just came down to film a piece, so there'll be new material on Wallkill. So the TRF, founded in '83, in 1984, our very first horse walked off the trailer at the Wallkill Correctional Facility. His name was Promised Road, and he was our first horse. Since then, probably 400 horses have lived out their lives at the Wallkill prison. They are a part of our program called Second Chances, which is, our tagline is essentially saving horses who are saving people. So in these programs at the prisons, they are teachers. We put the horses to work once again, not running so much, but teaching the inmates, men and women. We are in 8 different prison programs around the United States. So they are vocational programs. So those horses are teaching the inmates very valuable skills about horse care, but also the things the inmates speak about, I'm sure in this same piece, they speak about those more fundamental lessons they learn in terms of responsibility, accountability, getting outside of themselves, and the bonds formed with these men and women and these horses is just extraordinary. So the Second Chances program is really the cornerstone of the TRF. It also gives us our unique scalability. We have 750 horses in our herd today, so when we say we're the largest like by a lot. Now these guys, of course, are living mostly in pastures, and they're being brought in by the men to get their feet done and groomed and learn things, but we have the potential to expand as far as finances and resources and kind donations will allow us, because the prisons love this program and have some amazing success stories. So
yeah, it's funny, having you folks from the TRF, and then during the year we get some of the other folks in who do great work with horses. Horses are very therapeutic.
They really are. They really are. There's a great word, I think it's a great SAT word, sentient beings, which means they really respond, and they are the true mirror of what you're thinking. For better or for worse, they know what you're thinking. That's how the jockeys, I think, control them on the racetrack. It can't be through brute force. If they feel your confidence, they'll respond. But if they feel your fear or your anger, they'll also respond. So their interaction with all of us is certainly who made me, but they also play a huge role with the men and the women.
750 horses, you say. How many facilities are they at?
So we have 19 farms that are located in 12 states, and 8 of those are Second Chances prison facilities. So we actually have 3 more prison facilities on the line, expected to launch within the next 6 to 12 months. So the demand from the prisons themselves is actually quite high, and we all know there are horses every day that are going to need a place to be well cared for their lives. So.
And again, we have Rob Masiello from the New York Thoroughbred Horsemen's Association coming out later. You said he's on your board as well.
He's an awesome member of our board and has been tremendously helpful and visible in getting our word out there too.
And NYTHA has their Take 2 program, which transitions into a second career. And you're not, that's not the game plan. These are retired horses essentially. So if somebody comes to you and says, hey, I want to find a second career, you will then refer them. You're like, if you want to retire one, get in touch with us. If you want to go to second career, but if they get in touch with you, you say, hey, here are the places to go.
It's a really vibrant, like I think of it as a mosaic now that I've just joined this. Every organization plays a critical role. And NYTHA, with their Take the Lead, is doing an awesome role of triage to assess with vets what that horse's potential might be, based on that, figuring out which of us in the community. So in this case, actually, just this last week, we took a wonderful horse, thanks to NYTHA and Take the Lead, named Bon Vigilante, which I think is a horse a lot of folks in New York might know. But he's ready for a happy life under a sort of apple tree. He's landed in Virginia just 2 days ago, and we're thrilled to partner with NYTHA through that program.
And we should make the point, certainly here on this show, the last 4 or 5 years, this is a topic we've talked a lot about, and it's been probably 7, 8, 10 years that I think the horse racing industry has seen this topic bubble up, and everybody has kind of gotten involved. New York Thoroughbred Horsemen with the Take 2, and so it's something that now the racing industry recognizes, and they're playing into getting these horses a good retirement, maybe a second career.
Yeah, it really feels like it's always been an issue, and obviously it was an issue longer than 35 years ago. But there's a great sense in the community of aftercare that the wind is at our back, the tide is going the right direction. More people are doing the right thing now than the alternative, and we really want to, even just all of us together, but TRF in particular, want to celebrate those successful stories that are happening every day. Some end up with us, but some things, it's an exercise rider who fell in love with their horse when they couldn't run anymore. They took him home, put him in their backyard. I mean, these things are happening all the time. So it's a good time. We're happy to raise more awareness, but I think the people are thinking the right things these days.
And not only raising awareness, but obviously these horses all have to eat and whatnot, so raising some money as well. And let's talk about a little bit of an event tonight that folks may be interested in if you like Italian food and you want to support the TRF. Hay oats and spaghetti.
Yes, thank you. It's pasta for the horses. I mean, what's better than that? And I do laughingly say in my role that, honestly, horses eat money. I think any owner out there knows that for sure. So we do need to raise funds for the horses. They're with us a long time. And so tonight we have a very fun event. I think of it sort of as the Back to Saratoga event, since we're here early in the meet. Monday night before the day off tomorrow. And it's this year, our 6th annual Hay Oats Spaghetti will be held at the Saratoga Automobile Museum.
Right up by SPAC.
Right by the State Park. Beautiful facility. If you haven't been there and you like cars, they have some cool cars, and we'll have some cool people. I always say the way to host a good party is to invite really good guests. That's why I had Seth at my party. So we have a tremendous group coming out to join us. Richie Migliori is also on our board and is an awesome spokesperson. He'll be our MC tonight. We're also recognizing Jim Tremper, who's been the farm manager at the Wallkill prison for all these years. He just retired this year. So we're recognizing him and introducing his rock star successor. Her name is Kelsey Coburn, and she's up from Wallkill. She's doing amazing things. So good raffle, auction, pasta. I think I think we even have a magician and a tarot card reader. I mean, it's a party. So please come on out. $100 a ticket, and it goes straight to the horses. You can buy at the door? You can buy at the door. We'd love it if you didn't mind going online today, because it's TRFINC, TRFinc.org. Easier for us if you buy tickets right now while you're sitting at home watching television, but come to the door and we'll make spaghetti for you.
And we should note the spaghetti comes from Mamma Mia's. Folks may be familiar with that restaurant up here in Saratoga.
We are so thankful to Lori and Giuseppe at Mamma Mia's, our amazing hosts for this, and truly partners for ours.
And again, it's trfinc.org. If you want the website, go to Google, type in Thoroughbred Retirement Foundation, and you'll find it very easily. And not only can you find out more about the event tonight, but I'm sure you have the ability to donate anytime if you go to the website.
You sure do. We sure do. That website is ready for you anytime. One of our very popular programs for fundraising is sponsoring a horse. So really just looking them up, figuring out where they ran, if it's a track you loved or one you've gone to, and you can sponsor them for a year or the rest of their lives. So please come visit our website.
All right, Kim, appreciate the visit. Kim Weir from Thoroughbred Retirement Foundation, doing great work. And again, Hay Oats and Spaghetti tonight at the Automobile Museum. Check that out. You like spaghetti and you like horses? Put them together.
It's a perfect opportunity. Thank you, Seth. Hope to see you all tonight. I hope we're going to see you too. We have pasta plate waiting for you.
That's the game plan. I love the pasta. I love the pasta. I love the horses.
I love it. You're right.
It does work out.
Oh, that's awesome.
Kim, appreciate the visit and continued good work with the TRF.
Thank you so much, Seth. Thanks. Bye.
All right, we'll head to a break. When we come back, we're going to talk some food. Malcolm's Restaurant. We're going to talk a little bit about that, and a little bit later on, Rob Masiello from the New York Thoroughbred Horsemen's Association Board. All of that coming up. Stay tuned.
Sign up today for Capital OTB's handicapping series and plan your trip to Las Vegas.
Visit Rivers Casino and Resort, the Capital Region's only destination for live table game action and the hottest new slots paying out millions. And they're off. Horse betting is now at Rivers Casino and Resort with Capital off-track betting terminals and live tellers located just off the gaming floor at Van Slyck's. Get in on all the action at Rivers Casino and Resort.
Funding your Capital OTB bet account is as easy as 1, 2, 3. 1. Easy Money. Clearly the fastest and easiest method of depositing funds into your account. Make deposits or withdrawals in just minutes. 2. Green Dot Money Pack. Gives you instant access to your funds. Green Dot Money Packs are available at thousands of retailers nationwide. And 3. MasterCard Visa. Simply click on the link from the funding page, enter your account information, and fund your account. CapitalOTBBet.com. Log on today.
Welcome back to Racing Across America. If you watched the show and if you watched the first few days, you see the commercials pop in from Malcolm's Restaurant. So we thought we'd bring the owner, Nate Germain, on board to talk a little bit about it. Certainly if you're down in the Schenectady area, a day at the track, and then you want to come home and get some dinner, it may be a place to put on your checklist. Nate, good morning.
Hello, how are you?
Very good.
Good.
Let's get a little info on Malcolm's. First, a little information on you, because I was doing a little background work, and a fellow Syracuse alumni. So I got to ask if they come in during basketball season. I'm hoping the orange are on the TV in the bar.
Oh, no TVs, no, but yeah.
Well, people can check on their phone. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Technology these days. Yep.
And then from Syracuse, went on to the Culinary Institute.
I did. Yep.
So when did you know you wanted to get involved in the food hospitality industry?
When I was 16, I worked at a diner. I was a cook, just cooking everything and eating
at
most
16?
of it. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, nice. Yeah, eating most of it. The owner would say, "You're eating me out of house and home," and I would keep doing it.
So like short order, like the patty melts and that kind of thing?
Oh yeah, chicken parm and chicken tenders, that sort of stuff. But I learned a lot at the CIA. Obviously, that's not what the restaurant's about. We're farm to table, doing everything from scratch. Open kitchen, totally renovated the restaurant, brand new. Yeah.
And talk a little bit about that, because certainly on the webpage for Malcolm's Restaurant, you make note of the fresh farm to table kind of a menu. For folks who aren't familiar, explain that concept a little bit.
Yeah, well, we partner up with Roxbury Farms, so we get 10 family shares of produce. They do what's called a CSA, which is community-supported agriculture, and you would invest in the farm in the beginning of the season, and they would deliver you produce throughout the year. So we have 22 weeks of produce. Every Tuesday, we get about 10 crates of whatever's in season, whatever's the freshest thing from the farm. We utilize that. We also get a lot of our meats and things from local farms. Buckley Farm in right above Burnt Hills. We use Lover's Leap Farm for pork, Mariahville Farm as well. We do a lot of local seasonal things, and we're trying to make sure that everything comes from really good sources.
And so that it is local and seasonal, I just assume that the menu goes through some iterations during the year to kind of match up with what's seasonal at that time of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. We do all our menus on Kindles, so it is backlit. You don't need your cell phone camera.
So the menu, you hand out the Kindle to the paper?
Yeah, everybody gets a tablet, and we can change it every day if we need to. No matter what comes into the restaurant, we can do it. We go to the farmers market every Sunday, so we'll get a lot of fun stuff from there, and we really try to change up a lot of things, make it fun.
Yeah, I was kind of pulling up the menu yesterday on the website. Not only was the food kind of interesting and unique, but you had some unique cocktails as well.
Yeah. I was a bartender in New York City for a while, so I learned a lot from fellow bartenders, and we do a lot of classics, but a lot of interesting innovations. We have a smoked michelada, which is sort of a spicy beer cocktail, which is kind of fun, and we do a lot of different Negroni variations and different things like that. So.
Talk a little bit about this time of year. I know, a lot of people come up here to Saratoga and they want to go downtown, and that's great, but I think a lot of people also have the day at the track and, want to go and get their ride home in and then sit down for a nice meal and maybe have a glass of wine and still be close to home. So during the track season, you see a lot of track patrons who, on their way back from the track, stop into the restaurant to enjoy a meal before they head home?
Well, we've only been open for about 4 months, so this is our first try, but we're very busy for opening day, and it was an exciting night. So.
And as I say, I checked out the menu. Interesting and kind of eclectic. Give us a feel for what folks will find and what's on the menu currently.
Well, our octopus dishes is extremely popular. Yeah, it's extremely popular.
Is that an experiment for most people? Because it would be a total experiment for me.
Yeah, some people. I mean, it's very, very popular. I will say that. That's one of our signature dishes right now. We braise the octopus in red wine and a lot of different vegetables, and then we sear it crispy to finish it off. It's really good. And then we have we do beef cheeks every once in a while. Those are also sort of an interesting item. Very, very delicious, almost like short ribs, almost pull apart, very, very tender. So.
For folks who aren't familiar, where are you located in Schenectady?
We're on Lower Union Street, so right where it used to be a Cafe Nola. We were right next to the old Beer Abbey. Right
down in the kind of the Union College area?
Yeah, right. We're about 5-minute walk from Union College.
Okay. You get college kids in there?
Every once in a while.
There you go.
Yeah.
They like, the college kids like to experiment, so
I
can see them coming in shooting for the octopus. But as I say, the menu is a lot of fun. The cocktail menu is a lot of fun. Folks can go to your website and they see the address right there and get more information and take a look at the menu as well. When I went to the website, again, the farm to table concept is interesting. The menu is interesting. But there was also a nice little blurb about the staff, and the way the staff participates is kind of a new concept as well.
Yeah. With our open kitchen, we also have our chefs running a lot of the food. So you'll see white coats in the dining room. They can talk to the patrons about what's in the dishes. It's an interesting element to the mix because with a cook in the dining room, a guest gets a lot more interaction with where their food came from. And the cooks, they all feel very good about what they're making, and they're proud of it, so they get to deliver that product. So.
Nice. Again, give us a little update. You've given us the location. What are the hours?
We're open lunch and dinner Wednesday through Sunday.
And I see you have a late night menu as well.
We do. On Friday and Saturday, we're open 9:45 to midnight. So we have a couple different food offerings, and we're definitely open to if anybody wants to come down after the track and have some late night snacks.
Excellent. Nate Germain from Malcolm's Restaurant. Nate, certainly appreciate the visit, appreciate the sponsorship of some of the programming during the meet as well. You're going to come up and maybe make a couple of, I know you're buddies with our friend Mike Callahan. You're going to make a couple of bets on Mike's picks?
Oh, yeah, for sure. He's the best. Well, aside from you, of course. Yeah.
You're the best guest ever. Nate Germain from Malcolm's Restaurant. Again, if you're down in the Schenectady area during the meet or beyond, check it out. You can also check out the website for more information. Nate, thanks.
Thank you.
All right, we'll take another break. When we come back, Rob Masiello. Stay tuned.
All right, good.
Dirty windows? Don't do it yourself. Call Clean Image, your window cleaning professionals, and enhance the look of your business or home without the worry. Clean Image pledges nothing less than 100% customer satisfaction. It's guaranteed. Homes, offices, bed and breakfast, vacation homes, and more. Clean Image has cleaned them all. Carpet and floor cleaning, pressure washing, and janitorial services are also available. Call today, 446-1397. That's 446-1397. Online at clean-image.net.
Pick, bet, and cheer on live racing from Woodbine and Mohawk Park. Thoroughbred and harness action. The wagers are just the beginning. Watch award-winning broadcasts covering both breeds, incredible battles contested over the most unique grass course in North America. Experience the full fields with over 130 thoroughbred and 160 live harness days. Get access to free handicapping material and join the ranks of Woodbine and Mohawk Park players from all over the globe. For more information, visit woodbine.com.
Come on.
I want sales reports on my desk by Monday.
Whoops. My bad. Love racing? RTN brings you every live simulcast on your home television, plus live video streaming and race replays on your PC and mobile devices. To order, visit rtn.tv. RTN, a breed apart.
A day at the track isn't complete without a night at the Horseshoe. Great food, hot music, and cold drinks. So why go downtown when all the action's just across from the track? The Horseshoe Inn at the corner of Nelson and Gridley.
Welcome back to Racing Across America on this Monday morning, live from the Saratoga backstretch. Happy to be joined now from the New York Thoroughbred Horsemen's Association Board, Rob Masiello. Rob, good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
Happy to have you on board. Talk a little NYTHA and beyond, as you are an owner yourself. We'll touch on that as well. But as I said, we're here live on the Saratoga backstretch, and probably the best office in all of business, in all of the business world. The NYTHA office right down the
It is a beautiful office. So I haven't actually seen it until yesterday, but it's a beautiful office. It's crazy, right?
Regardless of what it looks like inside, just that you're on the back
you're on the back.
You could put a folding chair down there. It'd be great.
It's surprisingly in good shape too. I was very surprised seeing it the other day.
Yeah, it's certainly, as they say, a great location if you're going to do business. Let's talk a little NYTHA before we get started here and jump into some of the other things. Just give us a little background on NYTHA itself. New York Thoroughbred Horsemen's Association. What's the mission of that organization?
So our job is to represent the trainers and the owners. That's what we do. And so I got elected in the fall. This is my first term. And so really what my job is, there's kind of a lot of different facets of it. What I've kind of been tasked with is growing ownership. So the sport's in an interesting place because when you look at it on one hand, Triple Crown's as popular as it's ever been. You come up here, it's as popular as it's really ever been. Del Mar's obviously extremely popular. Keeneland, Gulfstream Park, to a certain extent, I would say, is pretty popular. The other side of that coin is that the fall crop's going down every year. And, you know, I think from a certain perspective, we're in some trouble because we need to get more owners into this game.
You look at the auctions, the high-end auctions do very well. You get down to the mid-level, it starts to...
I guess the anecdotally what people say, which maybe is somewhat true, is that you had, like, used to have the 4 lawyers that would throw $30,000 in and go buy a yearling. That market isn't really there as much anymore. So that's sort of what my focus has been on the board, and I'm going to keep working on it.
Well, there's a new initiative, and we'll talk about that because you alerted me, and it sounds like a lot of fun, and we'll hit on that before we wind up. But I just wanted to talk some more general thoughts. And we had Kim Weir from the TRF on a few moments ago, and I wanted to mention, because we hit on it a little bit, the Take Two program from NYTHA is a great, as I said to Kim, I think that the racing industry and the horsemen, certainly trainers and owners, have become much, much more involved in the concern on where these horses go after the racing career, and the Take Two program from NYTHA does a lot of positive in that direction.
It really does, and Rick Schatzbergs, who's on our board, is just, just one of these guys that I've heard a lot about before I joined the board, and then when you see him and all the stuff he did, especially in January when the power went out at Belmont Park, man, I have all the respect in the world for Rick. I'm actually also on the board of the TRF with Kim, and the TRF does a phenomenal job. I know you were talking a little bit about the Hey Oats and Spaghetti, which I would strongly recommend going out to if you don't have tickets yet, which you should have tickets at this point. I mean, it's a great event.
It's spaghetti and horses.
Yeah, I mean, how could you go wrong there?
Let's talk a little bit about how you got into it, because last night doing research, it was kind of interesting how you got into the ownership side of the game.
So I used to come up here when I was 12 years old. I took classes at Skidmore College. I'd never been
When you were 12?
When I was 12, I did like Skidmore. It was run actually through Johns Hopkins. They would do like a math and science program, whatever. So I was a nerd, so I would come up. And the first year I was away, I was like super homesick the first week. I'd never been away from home. I used to play sports all the time. Like I had a summer travel baseball team that I wasn't on. So my parents came up to visit me. I was like, I just want to get out of here. I don't want to stay. I want to go home. I want to play baseball. So they took me downtown. Didn't really make me feel better. Finally, it was like, all right, we're just going to get this kid out of here. But my parents were $2 bettors at Monmouth Park when they were kids growing up. Every weekend they would go down with their parents to Monmouth Park and, sit outside and bet $2 a race or whatever. So my dad was like, hey, let's go to the track. Let's just see how it goes. And I went. I had a 10-to-1 shot in the slop that I hit, and it was like I was just happy. And then I went back. I was like, all right, I'm going to gut it out, and I ended up not being homesick the rest of the 3 weeks. And then every year after that, we used to come to the track, and so that's how I became a fan. And then I started with West Point when I got out of college. West Point Thoroughbreds, who syndicates horses, and Terry Finley.
But I love this. You called up Terry and said, I don't have enough money now, but
I have no money.
But when I get a job and I got the money, I want to be in.
Yeah, I called him up and I was just like, listen, I don't have any money, but I'm interested in your business. Just tell me about it. So I actually emailed him that, and 15 minutes later he called me back and he had a half-hour conversation with me. And that honestly was like, wow, this is such a solid guy that he's calling some 20-year-old kid that has no money to see if he wants to buy horses.
That's great. And we love Terry and Tommy Bellhouse and the whole West Point crew. So you were involved with some of their horses, and we'll hit on one of those in a moment. But I wanted to go back and just let you relive about 2 weeks ago down at Monmouth Park, Avocado Toast.
Yeah, so
we have the stretch run here of Avocado Toast breaking its maiden. So talk a little bit about this effort.
Yeah, she's named for my daughter really likes avocados, so we named her Avocado Toast. She ran twice on the dirt, and she got beat a combined 350 lengths. So we said,
that's
let's
an
put her on the turf.
exaggeration.
Well, slightly. But, sometimes she'd work so well at OBS March on the poly track, and Tom Albatroni and I talked a little bit about maybe trying her on the turf. She trains like a 3-year-old. She really trains well, but I think in both of her dirt races, she didn't like the kickback. In this race, Joe Bravo put her to the front, and she really, I thought, had an impressive effort. We're going to nominate for the Colleen Stakes down at Monmouth Park, but we're also going to nominate to the Bolton Landing up here, and I'm trying to talk Tom into running up here.
Yeah, it's nothing like the Saratoga win.
That's exactly. And she ran. It's going to be a level.
That 12-year-old that had the Skidmore program couldn't envision standing in the winner's circle.
I think about that all the time. I really do. And so my parents still come up here on weekends, and I get emotional thinking about, because they were, the thing to me was when I was homesick, my parents were like, we're going up the next second. We're going to be with him. We're going to make sure he gets through this okay. So getting to share that experience with my parents is really special. Yeah.
It's a fun story, certainly, and we'll look for Avocado Toast to maybe make it up here. Wanted to touch on one of the horses I'm assuming was one of the first horses you were involved with. I'm going to pull up the Bernard Baruch from 2016 Ring Weekend. Again, you were involved with West Point and Ring Weekend.
Yeah.
One of the first you were involved with. And I debated, should I pull up the Kilroe and watch the Grade 1 or... let's get a win at Saratoga.
He's on his left lead. He's on his left lead, and right at past the 8th pole, he always struggled switching leads. Is he on his? Is he? No, he's on his. Anyway, he always struggled like hanging on his left lead, and then, I mean, obviously this race, I think it was a track record at the time. This was closing.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, just such a cool horse. I remember when we bought him as a yearling. I've actually been with West Point since 2005, so I was around for a few years when we got this horse. But just a very, very special horse. We partnered with Vinny Viola, who's an absolutely prince of a man. You know, grew up poor in Brooklyn, became an Army Ranger, went on to become the chairman of the NYMEX and start his own company. And you wouldn't know, I mean, he's just the most down-to-earth, nice person. So it just was a very special, you know, the one thing about Ring Weekend, and we just retired a couple weeks ago, not many horses are like Derby. He won the Tampa Bay Derby. That's actually, I have a cool story of that, but I think it's a little bit too long. I know we're kind of running out of time. But not many horses can win a Derby prep and then go on and be 4-, 5-, 6-year-old turf horses like he was. He was just a very cool
He had
horse.
a great career, and again, West Point, like as I say, a lot of the owners now are concerned, and he's going on to a second career now.
Yeah, that's something. It's very important to me. It's very, very important to Terry and his daughter Erin Birkenauer, who's also on the TRF board. It's something that, you know, as owners, our responsibility is to take care of these horses. Like, this game does not exist without the horses, and I think more and more in the last 5 years or so, a lot of owners have really jumped on board to realize, like, this is something that we have to do. So.
Well, now I want to hear the Tampa Bay Derby story, though.
So, sign up with my dad. We were playing in a father-son golf tournament in West Palm Beach. We end up running in the Tampa Bay Derby kind of last minute, so we can't get out of the golf tournament. So, like, all right, screw it. We're going to play, we're playing early in the day, and we'll just drive up. So it's like a 3-hour drive. We finish around in a reasonable time. We shower real quick, hop in the car. We cruise the first couple hours. Then we get to like Orlando, and we just get stopped cold. And so now it's like, and I kept thinking to myself, he was 15-1. My dad really wanted to go. I'm like, I don't want to drive this guy 4 hours from West Palm Beach to Tampa just to run up the track, and then we have to drive all the way back because we had to play again the next day. Long story short, we don't make it in time, but the race keeps getting delayed. The race went off like 30 minutes past when it was supposed to go off. So we get there like legitimately 2 minutes to post. Like legitimately, we park the car. Thankfully, someone had left like right in front of. We pull the car in. I go to the bathroom for 90 seconds of the 2 minutes because we'd been in the car nonstop for 4 straight hours, right? Get out. He brakes on top. He goes to the front. He keeps going. I remember looking at Bellas and saying, this is either going to be really good or really bad, because he had like cleared the field by 5 or 6 lengths. And he hangs on his left lead the whole time like we were talking about, gets to the finish first. We were there for like a total of 5 minutes. I completely lost my mind. Like I was, on a scale of 1 to 10, I was screaming, cursing. I think the Tampa Bay newspaper wrote an article about how crazy Erin and I, they're like the owners of this horse were acting completely ridiculous. But it was just added because I got to do it with my dad too. It was so special. He didn't make it to the Derby. He got sick the week before. But at that moment, we were like, oh my God, we're in the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. And that level of emotion and excitement is what it's all about. And again, I want to touch on this initiative you told me about before we went on the air, because you're trying to get more people involved in that. And I think this is a great idea you guys are looking at.
Well, we're really stealing it from a lot of people, but we're going to be, NYFA is working now. I'm working with Christina Bossanakis, who you might know from XBTV, but we're working on starting a racing club in New York, and it's been extremely successful at Churchill Downs. And actually, one thing I do want to say, I want to give a call out to Mike Ziegler of Churchill Downs, who started the racing club. You know, I think there's and my perception certainly of the industry sometimes is that all the states are fighting with each other, and that's true to an extent. But Mike has been nothing but helpful and really supportive of us trying to do it. We're all in the same boat here. We need to bring owners into this game. So Christina and I have been working the last 5 or 6 weeks or so, and it's going to be a racing club. It's basically going to be like a trial period of owning a horse. So you're going to put up, let's say, a few $100s. And you're going to get to experience what it's like to own a racehorse without having to deal with all of the, stuff, the business side of it month to month. And it's just a way, like I was saying to you before, it's a trial period. It's a way to, see what this sport is like. One of the questions I always get when I bring friends up is, you know, how does all this stuff work? Like, this is really interesting that you're into horses, but like, how do you do all this stuff? How do you hire a trainer? What are the bills like? All that kind of stuff. What is the insurance like? So for a few $100, you're going to get to experience what it's like to own a horse, and you're going to get to see what the business is like. So that's kind of what we're doing.
It's been a home run for that Churchill Racing Club.
They've done it absolutely the right way. They have D. Wayne Lucas, which helps a huge amount. They have a horse named Warriors Club, who's won a stake race on Bluegrass Day, and actually won an allowance race very impressively here on Travers Day last year, I think.
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, they got a little lucky. They had a good horse, but they've done everything exactly the right way, and we're just, you know, we're going to try to do that here in New York.
Yeah, Christine will be great because, of course, she was at Gulfstream for a while. People remember her sitting with Ron Nicoletti. Then she was doing the concierge work.
That's right.
That's right. Now over with XBTV, but she'll be great at that as well. It sounds like a lot of fun, as you say. It gets people involved for a modest investment, but it teaches you a little bit about the game, and then hopefully then people can transition in and kind of, you know, you were involved with West Point, and every year I'll have the guys from West Point and some of the other syndicate partnerships in here, and there are all kinds of options that you can look at price-wise and those kind of things, and this is kind of a good baby stepping stone to moving on to bigger and better things.
So think of it this way. I always say this. I'm friends with Sal Cumin, right? Sal Cumin's won 175 grade ones this year, I think. 6 years ago, he was sitting in the grandstand having Coors Lights. No one would have known who he is. So look, maybe a lot of those people we bring in might end up just being bettors that get a better appreciation of the game, which actually helps us too, because then they're going to bet more money and they'll have a better understanding. But if you can find that one, and look, finding Sal Cumin might be a little bit of a high bar to cross, but if you can find one person like that in the group of 200, then you've made a big difference.
And certainly, again, get in for a modest investment, and you have the fun in the summertime of coming up here to Saratoga potentially, and, you know, your horses in the paddock and maybe in the winner's circle.
Exactly.
It's as I say, I think you have a real great gem of an idea here. When will things kind of formulate so people will be able to kind of know more and potentially jump in?
I think in a few weeks. We're hoping to be in a spot where at the second half of the meet we can start really advertising and getting the word out. That's obviously the goal. Christine also has a book coming out that I've heard is very, very good. I would strongly recommend buying that, but I think it's coming out in a week or two.
Okay.
So we're going to try to do everything to coincide. Yeah.
Sounds good. New York Thoroughbred Horsemen's Association, and of course there's the NYTHA website as well. Type in New York Thoroughbred, type in NYTHA, N-Y-T-H-A, and then you'll on Google and you'll find the website. Folks can get information there as well. Rob, certainly appreciate the visit and appreciate all the work NYTHA's doing. Good luck going forward with the new Owners Club concept. As I say, that sounds like a home run, and we will be looking for avocado toast.
Sounds good. It's a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Rob Masiello from the New York Thoroughbred Horsemen's Association, all of which brings us to the end of this edition of Racing Across America. Don't forget today, low rollers over on the front side. Always a lot of fun. Highly recommended. Jump in, see if you can maybe put your name at the top of the list and pull out a little contest money on this Monday afternoon. As far as racing, all the turf races are off except for the feature race number 7. Adjust your handicapping accordingly. Have a lot of fun this afternoon. Cash some tickets. We'll see you right back here Wednesday morning.
You've been watching Racing Across America with Seth Merrow. Racing Across America has been brought to you by CapitalOTBBet.com, the premier online wagering site in New York State. CapitalOTBBet.com. Sign up today. Pinnell's Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, Saratoga, just minutes from the track. Thoroughfan, giving the fan a voice. Find them at thoroughfan.com. Woodbine Racetrack, pick, bet, and cheer on world-class horse racing north of the border. And the new Capital OTB mobile app. Wager anytime, any place, anywhere. Download it free from the iTunes Store or Google Play.